I never visualized and never imagined the depth and the extent, anything. The size, the speed, anything about computers is what they would achieve. I always, at first, thought I was very limited. I was a freshman in physics in 1949 when I read an article about some computing device. It had in the order of 15,000 vacuum tubes, and it used only the digits 0 and 1, which was a puzzle to me because I'd never heard of this number system. And it took me a while to figure out how to even write a number with just zeros and ones. So then I started asking myself, well, could I mechanize these operations in some sense? And I thought in terms of relays. But then as I started adding up what it would cost for a bank of relays to store numbers, I found that it would be more than I could afford. So I abandoned the whole idea for the time being. So the year was September 1970, and I had $6,000, a little bit other. And so I thought, you know, if I were going to build that small computer, now's the time to do it. Finally decided that the way to go was to emphasize an educational computer that was fun to use, but sufficiently complicated and so on, so that if you did use it and you did program it, you had a good idea of what a real computer was like. Well, the Kenbak-1 was a small educational computer of 256 internal bytes. One of my first customers actually said, "This is just like the real beast." He said, "I used to program on SDS computers and this is just like them." Some people refer to the Kenbak-1 as an invention. I say it was not an invention, it's just logic. I mean, you put 2 and 2 together and so on, and this results. If I hadn't done it, someone else would have.